Okay, hello everyone out there, if there is anyone out there. Just basically a video to help you streamline your revision. It doesn't really matter if there is anyone, whether there's anyone listening or not, because you can watch this video in your own time. What you've got for statistics is the content is split two ways, from 1 to 7 in the first chapter. Hey Alvin, how you doing? And then you've got 3 chapters in the second year. So as I said to anyone who's watching, if anyone is watching, it doesn't really matter if you're watching now. It's great if you are, because then obviously I thrive on feedback. But like if you're not watching and you're watching later, no problem. I get it, 7 o'clock, people are eating their lunch, dinner and whatever, and family time, and I get that. Okay, so here's how it goes. So from 1 to 7 in the applied book is statistics, and 1 to 3 in the second applied book is also statistics, all right? So what I've done is I've made a very kind of there's a bit of a clumsy little list there that tells you what we've got videos already for. So for the first year, we've got full videos, more or less at this point, of hypothesis testing for the binomial distribution, one-tailed, two-tailed critical region. So that's all there. We've also got a bunch of stuff on the normal distribution, which is, again, online. So all the binomial stuff and all the normal stuff, there's videos for already. Chapter 2 and Chapter 3 of the first year book, I'm making videos for tomorrow. So those videos, I'm live streaming at about 9:30-ish tomorrow. So either watch them when we're being live streamed or watch them when you get a spare minute. Okay? So that's the situation. So what I want to know is, hey Alex, good to see you. I'll just recap this. It seems like a few more people are showing up to this. I've written down the chapter numbers for all the things that are accessible in statistics, and I've put ticks where there are already videos existing. So I don't need to cover binomial again, because there's already videos on binomial that I've already made for you. Well, not really made for you, they're on live streams. Just have a look at a live stream. Yep, we can definitely do that. So PMCC is one that we want to cover. This is something we can do now. So all the binomial stuff's covered already, and most of the normal stuff. In fact, the only normal stuff that isn't covered is the basic stuff, all right? The very, very basic stuff. So I've heard a request for PMCC, so definitely you can start with that. What else do people want to see? What is the 25th? It means I'm going to make videos basically tomorrow on the contents of Chapter 2 and Chapter 3. Maybe like the Chapter 3 one will be on the Thursday right in the morning. I'm live streaming at about 9:30 for my year 12s. It's not really for you, but obviously you can listen in and watch, etc. I hope that makes sense. All right. So that's what I'm going to be covering in this videos, and hopefully, obviously, people are, as I said, people are busy. This is their evening time. This is not a normal lesson time. So I just put it out there so it doesn't conflict with anyone's mocks. I will be here tomorrow doing the same thing for mechanics, all right? Which I suspect will be a rather more challenging situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the PMCC. Is correlation PMCC? Well, correlation and PMCC, yeah, well, PMCC is a measure of correlation. Do you remember? It tells you how correlated you are on a scale of -1 to 1, okay? And with that situation, 0 means no correlation, 1 would mean absolutely perfect correlation, positive, and -1 would be perfect negative correlation, okay? Is that making sense? So scatter diagrams are also correlation. For example, lines of best fit are related to the correlation topic. Regression lines, all of that stuff comes under the heading of correlation. Good. So should we do PMCC then? Okay, and get started on that. As I said, I don't really want to hold people here, and I fully understand why people are. This isn't an official lesson. That's why I have, like I said, one reminder. I'm not going to send too many reminders. People have a right to, do what they want at 7 o'clock in the evening. I'm just going to rub this off now, though, right? So PMCC is what we're going to start with. So PMCC is our heading. Now you should have got in your emails some questions that you can try. All right. I'm not going to do those. I'm going to use the textbook. So PMCC in the textbook can be found in chapter, I believe it's chapter 1, and it's from page 5 onwards. So it's page 5, chapter 1 in the second book. I'm just having a look at that. That's not too bad of a pen. We've got 5 people now. As I said, I'm not going to be like in the slightest bit offended if people need to go and have their dinner or whatever. It's just like looking at the mock exams. I knew each one of you had a mock exam at some point, right? Alex, do you know large data set? Large data set, I mean, that's definitely something I can cover after this, all right? There's definitely something I'd cover after this. let's start from the PMCC first. Get that over and done with. So, first of all, let's talk about measuring correlation. The PMCC, it describes the linear correlation between two variables, and it goes between -1 and 1. And I've already sort of said this to you once already. So 0 here is no. Here is perfect negative. Yep. I mean, if there is a call to discuss that, the large data set, just put that in the chat box below. And then I'll do it after I've done the PMCC. It's a perfect positive, all right? So there's two, so you've got the 1 to -1. So like, you get something like 0.1. In 2021, yeah, Alvin, don't put stupid things in the chat box. So that's how the PMCC scale works. The closer you are to -1, the closer you are to perfect negative correlation, and vice versa, +1, the closer you are to perfect positive correlation, and 0 just means no correlation. All right. So there's that. I mean, beyond that, all you need to be able to do is be able to use your calculator to work out the PMCC and then be able to do hypothesis testing off that. Can you pop a message in the chat box if you do not know how to work out the PMCC on a calculator? Okay? Because there are videos available. I can send you, in fact, we'll probably just stand up doing it together. Of how you can work out the PMCC. Sally, you don't know. Oliver, you don't know. I think, yeah, well, that's the formula, and you're not wrong about that. And I wouldn't dare argue with you about it either. Bear with me just a moment. I'm just trying to figure it out myself, actually, because I haven't done this forever. So you need a, just bear with me, just guess, it's statistics 6. Is it one variable, isn't it? One variable, or is it 2 variable? Just bear with me. I'm just going to work this out. So 6 to, okay. So I'm just going to, give me 1 second. I'm just fiddling around with the calculator. Yeah, it's menu 6 then 2, but I just want to do the right thing by you and give you the concise instructions. Cool. And then you go equals, then you go option, 2 variable calculation, option, 2 variable calculation. And that gives you the standard deviation. That's not what I'm looking for. Option, regression calculation. Yeah, okay. I've got it. Okay, cool. So what it's looking for, yeah, so you menu 6 and then 2. And then you have a table you fill in. Then you go to option, 2 variable calculator. Sorry, my apologies, not 2 variable, 3. So I'm going to write this all down because I'm just saying words at you. So if you go menu 6, so menu 6, select 2, fill in the table, then go to option, and it's the third option, it's regression calc. All right? And then you'll get the values from there. So it's, let's move that tiny bit. Menu 6, option 2. Sorry, yeah, and then afterwards go. So menu 6, pick 2, then option button, which is OPTN, and then pick 3. All right. So what I want to do, let's test this skill. Let's see if we really can do this. If you look on page, let's pick one. If we have a look on page, okay, I want you to try for me example 2 on page 6. The reason why I want you to do an example, and I'm going to put the example in front of the screen so you know what the numbers we're talking about is that it covers quite a lot of the material we've got, and it's got a ready-made answer, so there's no way you'd have to like search through solutions. Let me put that in front of your screen. I don't know how well you can see that. I hope you've got your book with you. If you don't, what you're looking at, let's try and arrange it so you can see that comfortably, is exercise 6. So first one, it says, state the meaning of not applicable in the table above. It means that we haven't got the data for it. It's not available. It's not that there wasn't any discussed. It might have been there. We don't know that. It just means that it's just not available. I want you to do part B on your calculator. So let's recap the steps one more time. You go to menu. It's 6. Number 2, type in your data. Your first one should always be the horizontal one here. So that'll be X, and this guy is Y. Type that in. Do not count the ones which have got an NA in it. So not 4 and 7. So neither of these are at all 8, data piece 8, data piece 9. You can't have either of those numbers for both this column or that column. And then prove to yourself that R equals 0.9533, which obviously, if that came up in real life, would be a very, very strong positive correlation. So just responding to a message from Ilya. So Ilya asked, can you put the video on YouTube, please? I always put the video up unless I make a really bad mistake that would mislead you. So like if I make a mistake that if you watched it, you think, oh my God, I'm learning something, and it's actually wrong. But it takes a while. It takes about 2 or 3 hours. We'll go up, but takes a while to upload. So that's that. So what I want you to do is try that for me. And I want you to confirm that you've got that skill in the chat box, right? So the skill I'm talking about is being able to work out the PMCC. How do you need to do it? Use the menu. It's option 6, the one that says statistics. Pick number 2. Fill in the data, excluding any data piece which has got NA on it. So excluding the entirety of 8 and 9 on this particular question. Calculate the PMCC. You go to option, and you pick regression calculator. And one of your options will be R. R is the symbol for PMCC. All right. So once you've done that, can you just pop a note in the chat box below, so I know we can move on to testing hypotheses. I'm going to leave the camera on the book, just in case anyone's not got the book up, but you should have. I hope everyone's got a copy of Applied 2 by now. Yeah. So Applied 2, it's page number 6. Okay. So we've got 2 people that have got it. Just going to give it about another minute or so for those people that are, still got. You said you've got it. I don't think there's too many more. There's only 2 other people on this. I don't know who the other 2 people are. I've got Alex, Sally, Oliver. Well, so Oliver hasn't said anything, and Alvin. I don't know who the 5th person is. I'm going to move on in just a moment then. Okay, and then we'll see how we can use this to do hypothesis testing with. Then the next thing I was asked about was the large data set. So I'll just give you, again, just one quick recap on that. I'm just going to wait for a few more seconds. Okay, let's move on to hypothesis testing. Oliver spoke up there. Okay, sorry, I do apologize. I just lost it. So when I said lost it, I didn't see what it was. So the hypothesis testing, what you need to do is work out what the PMCC is, and then use a table. And this is one of the few places where a table exists, yeah, that you actually need to use. And then compare, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at example 3 on page 9. Has everyone on here got the textbook? Because that'll save me sticking it in front of the camera. Can you just put quick confirmation that you've got the textbook? And the textbook example I'm asking you to look at is the one that's on page 9, and it's example 3. So just pop a message in there so I know I don't need to bother sticking it in front of the camera each time. Just quick message in the box so I know that you've got you've got the textbook. And if you haven't got the textbook, you've got textbook, that's brilliant, that's 1. Because then I can hold the textbook and I can read you through some examples. It's just a lot easier for me to see. But if you haven't got it, I'll put it in front of the camera. You've got the book, Alex. Yeah, brilliant. There's 3 other people. I'm just going to wait another 30 seconds. Try not to, it's kind of boring for anyone who's watching if I'm waiting for responses in a live chat. So if I ask you to do something, just type in quickly. I've got it, I haven't got it. It just makes life just a teensy bit quicker. So if anyone hasn't got the textbook, you need to speak up in about the next 15 seconds, and I'll go through it with you. Yeah, you've got Elvin. Yeah, brilliant. Let's move on then. I think there's 4 of you, and there's 1 person that just keeps flipping in and out. And I don't know who they are, so we'll worry about that later. Okay, a scientist takes 30 observations of the masses of 2 reactants in an experiment. So we're looking at example 3 on 9. She calculates a product moment correlation coefficient of R equals minus 0.45. Okay, so if we just go back to what our understanding of what an R equals minus 0.45 is, it means that there's a negative correlation. It's not particularly strong, but it exists. All right. The scientists believe there's no correlation between the masses of 2 reactants. Test 10% significance. The scientists claim, stating your hypothesis clearly. So basically, by luck, you can get a number that signifies a negative correlation, right? That's the fundamental idea. So we need to test whether the number that we've got is significant. It's the same as when we do binomial. It's the same as we're doing normal. It's not that there is a number. Of course, there's going to be some number, whatever calculation you do. If you pick random numbers, you probably get like something like a 0.3 or 0.4 just out of, the calculation will throw that number out. So we need to decide, is the correlation coefficient that we've calculated big enough to us to reject the null hypothesis? The null hypothesis, and I've said this so many times in the last few weeks, is the status quo, right? So the null hypothesis basically says to you, well, look, if you are, we'd assume that nothing interesting is happening here. The status quo is that nothing has changed. So we need to be convinced that this is extreme enough that we reject the status quo. So let's talk that out. So H0 would be that there is no correlation. Yeah. And notice here, we've got this symbol here, yeah, which is a rho in Greek alphabet. It doesn't matter. And the null hypothesis is that there is some correlation. Sorry, the null hypothesis is no correlation. The alternate hypothesis is that there is a correlation. Because if you look at the wording of it, she believes that there is no correlation. All right. And that's always going to be your null hypothesis. So next thing we need to do is find a table. Okay. Now, where would you find a table? And I expect to take a short break while people try and look this up. You will find a table in your formula booklet. Now, you will have a formula booklet from the exam paper. All right. So, when I emailed out the exams, I gave you a formula booklet at that point. It makes your life a little bit easier if you have that. It definitely makes it a lot easier because some of the things are not going to make any sense until unless you can see it. So I'm going to take like a 30-second break. Everyone can just pull that up, pull out the formula booklet. And the thing you're looking for is the product moment coefficient table. So it's a product moment correlation video. Not video, sorry, table. That's the one that's going to be the one that we're going to go and look at. All right. I'm just going to check in the textbook whether they're kind enough to give you a copy at the back. That would be very helpful and useful and would actually make some sense. But have they? I wonder. I'm not sure they do. Have you marked pure? You're going to wait a while for that. All right? It's going to be a considerable time before I'm going to mark all of this stuff. I haven't even had a chance to mark yet because I'm still trying to sort out my teaching online. So I'll probably start marking on Friday. All right? And then it's like about 100 times harder than marking anything ever because I have to find all your pictures, and sort it out. So don't rush me. It will be done when it's done. And I mean, I'll do it as fast as I can. Kelvin, hello. How are you? This is second year statistics, which you're more than welcome to sit in. Right. His name is Kelvin, not Kevin, my dude. Yeah, so there isn't, unfortunately, I just looked through the book, there isn't a formula, there isn't the PMCC table in the textbook. You will need to get the formula book up. As I said, we'll hold on a few seconds while we do that. While you're looking for it, I'll talk you through the mathematics of it so we don't have any dead time. What you need to do is find the table that's got sample size of 30, and you look for the column that goes 0.05. Now, why is it 5? Because it's a two-tailed test and it's a 10% test. Half of 10 is 5. Okay? So that's hopefully that makes some level of sense to you. All right? So when you find your table, when you've pulled it up, and pop a message in the box when you have found the table. And if you can't find the table in your formula booklet, let me know that now, because that means I need to send you another copy of the formula booklet for the real exam. All right? You think you found the table? You can't find the table. So, Alex, do you want to tell Sally in the chat box what page number we're looking at? Page 37. Brilliant. Yeah. So anyone who's watching this later on, tonight, tomorrow, whenever, the formula booklet is on page 30. Sorry, the page in the formula booklet you're looking for is page 37. Okay, so I want you to find the one that goes 30 and 0.05, and the sample size here was, so we got sample size 30 and 0.05, and tell me where those two numbers meet. All right, so where those two numbers meet, and those numbers should meet at 0.3061. Okay, 0.3061. So Alex and the rest of you guys can confirm that. That would be great, because this is very much about you learning how to use that table. All right. So where these two numbers should meet, 30 and 0.05 on that table, should be 0.3061. Confirm, please, in the chat box if you can. Brilliant. Okay. Now it's a two-tailed test, so I'm going to smack the plus or minus on it, because it will be above this, below this, two-tailed test. Yeah. And thank you very much. R is larger than that, so therefore we're going to reject the null hypothesis. Okay, what book? Because page 37 has Venn diagrams. Second year page. You're looking at page 9 as well. I don't know what the hell you're doing. Page 37 of the Page 37 of the formula booklet for the table you need. Page 9 in the textbook. All right, hoping that makes some level of sense to you. All right. There is no, unfortunately, there's a design flaw in that book. They should have really stuck that table in there. Anyways, so we've got 0.3061. That's our test. We've got minus 0.45. That is larger in an absolute sense than minus 0.361. Obviously, I know that minus 0.55 is smaller than minus 0.361. What I'm saying is it's further away from 0. Yeah. So therefore, we're going to reject null. All right. Because this number is further away than the bottom end of this number from 0, that's probably the neatest way of saying it, we are going to reject the null hypothesis. How did I get that number? Which one, this one or that one? The 0.05 or the minus, plus or minus 0.3061? Okay, so if you go to your table, and I hope you found it by now, put your finger on 0.05, put your finger on sample size 30, make them meet. Okay, where do those two meet? So presumably one's going horizontally, one's going vertically. Where they meet, where both of them, coincide, should be 0.03061. Can you confirm you understand that? Because that's super important. Brilliant. Okay, cool. So then just all it comes to is then us going, well, okay, that's fine. That's further away from 0, as in what actually came out. It's further away from 0 than what we've worked out from the table. Therefore, we reject the null hypothesis. What I think might be an interesting exercise is for you to try for me exercise 1C, page 10, and we'll do that. We'll work that out as a final answer together. So you're going to try it first, then I'm going to give you the answer. Then I'm going to talk about very, very briefly the large data set. And that will be that for today. So I appreciate it's 7 o'clock. Okay, what do I do with it then? Let's answer. Alvin, Alex was being clever. Not necessarily in a complimentary way this time. What do I do with it then? You compare it to what number you actually got. So here you've got plus or minus 0.361. Why is it plus or minus? Because it's a two-tailed test. If it wasn't, you'd pick whichever way it was, positive or negative, right? This is negative minus 0.45. The smallest this can be is negative minus 0.3061. This one is further away from 0 than that one, therefore we reject the null hypothesis, okay? It's a more extreme value. You just think about hypothesis testing as always saying, I need you to be this crazy for me to change my mind. If you are more than this crazy, then I change my mind, all right? So here I've got minus 0.45. That's more crazy than minus 0.3061. So therefore I'm rejecting null, all right? So I hope that made sense. Those people that already understand, please try for me exercise 1C, question 1 only, and we'll go through the answer to that together. If you've got any further questions, you don't really get this, can you pop a comment in the box? All right. That makes sense. Brilliant. Keep the idea, the thinking. I think that really does make it clear. Okay, cool. So I just want to do one example. Just want to do 1C, just so you've at least got like a basic grounding on how to handle these if they come up. So 1C question 1. Then I'm going to do maybe 5 or 10 minutes on the large data set. Then I'm going to shut up for today. While we're doing all of that, if you guys can pop in the live chat for tomorrow, because I'm going to do another one of these at 7 o'clock on mechanics, what you'd like to have practice. Obviously ladders, but what else? Yeah? Then while you're just doing the question in the background, I know what I need to prepare for tomorrow. That'll be super handy. All right. So what I'm asking you to do is exercise 1C question 1. You'll find it on page 10 of the textbook this time. I'm going to rub this out now, so I think it's had its time. The text, as I said, the formula booklet is on page 37. There's someone else has joined our chat. I don't know who they are. So what people are doing at the moment for the new person is the PMCC, and I've shown them how to calculate the PMCC. So you might want to go back and watch this if you weren't already watching this. And then we've done one hypothesis test as an example, and now I'm asking people to do question 1 on page 10 to see whether they understand it or not. All right. And I mean, that's not a very, very hard one, but I think if you've got the method, you're in a good place, right? And while people are doing that, I want people to put comments in the box if they don't understand. Put comments about what they'd like for mechanics tomorrow. So I suspect that would be quite a busy one if people are not comfortable with. I don't know how strong you are in mechanics at this point. We've done a fair bit. I think we're a lot stronger than we were 3-4 weeks ago. So I feel relatively confident. It might be that I end up here talking to myself. That's comfy. But if you want stuff for mechanics, any particular topics, pop that in the live chat. All right. I hope everyone's like. I know lots of people will end up watching this later. So I hope people are like coping with the lockdown, okay, etc. Once the mocks are gone, I mean, there isn't any official plan. I had a meeting today, and obviously there's no full-on. What question again? It's, oh, sorry, you can't see it. I'm so sorry. That should be on the screen. I've written it down there. One question, but Alvin for pointing out that's not on the screen, even though I can see the screen. I'm a bit behind social book. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I hope people are dealing with the lockdown okay. I haven't gone out at all today. I might have to go shopping tomorrow. I hope I might have to. I'm hoping people are well as well. A couple of people have said that they've got symptoms that are, so shall we say, reminiscent of corona. So if you've got that, can you obviously let me know so I can warn everyone else? I've checked with all my other classes, no one else has. So I don't think it's a me thing. It might be a you thing. Not that it's something that we'd assign blame for. You obviously did not know. I've seen in the news that 50% of the people that are carriers of the disease are asymptomatic, which means they don't have symptoms or visible symptoms. So this is not a blame game. Please put that out of your mind. But it's useful to know. But yeah, definitely stay at home as much as you possibly can. If anyone's got any good workout packages, drop them in the not in the chat box, but you know, I'm getting bored. I mean, it's boring. I'm just doing like stairs and bicep curls with Why am I telling you all this? I guess I'm just filling in time. Yeah, so question 1C. Remember, the formula booklet can be found as one of your email things that you got from the mock. As soon as you've got an answer, pop it in the chat box. If you're struggling, pop that in the chat box. And immediately after that, we'll talk about the large data set. And that will be that. Remember, you could be asked to do PMCC on large data set numbers. In fact, if you look at example 4 on page 10, you don't have to look at it now, but just in general, it is from the large data set. So they're not, these things are not different. So you've got reject null hypothesis. I will check that for you. The way you've written it says reject ho, which you should do. You should always reject hoes. Not as human beings, so, I've just realized I've now found the PMCC thing. It's on page 191 in the flipping textbook. I'm so sorry. So yeah, if anyone's watching this later on, it's page 191 in the textbook. Yeah, I mean, so rejecting null, rejecting null, rejecting. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to make any more jokes about rejecting null. We're all very moral and clean people here. Moderately. So yeah. So rejecting null for A and accepting null for the second one. Okay, we are not slut shaming anyone. I'm with you on that. You have fun, right? Not you personally. I might have to delete this video because some of the things that are coming out of my mouth aren't making any sense. But yeah, we are not slut shaming anyone. We do not do this. So I'm guessing because Alvin's got it right, Sally's got it right. Alex, have you got it right? I can start talking about large data sets pretty shortly. So if you want to get ahead of the game on large data sets, and congrats to those guys who've got the PMCC right, remember that might come in handy in the exam. And if it doesn't, yeah, Alex, brilliant, it's good. Alex, you need to talk in the chat box. I know this is breaking a habit of a lifetime, but you know, please, because I can't see your face, and that's very sad. Do you know I'm growing a beard? I mean, it's going to be such a surprise when you see me. Always be kind to every type of woman. Jeez, I don't recall the bit in the Bible where that was said, and I've read the Bible, new and old, so don't bluff. Don't try and bluff me on the Bible, my dude. I mean, the Book of Revelation is a hell of a thing to read. Got it, good. Especially if you've... someone described the Book of Revelation as like the creation of a mind on LSD, and I'm not entirely sure I disagree. Some guy then, yeah, probably you, Alvin. Probably you. Right, so let's talk about the large data set, and I think we're all pretty much happy with this. So, if you remember, think about the happy days where we used to sit in class, yeah? Well, there was a map on the wall, and on that map were the names of 5 cities, and the cities, they're locations, really. Lucas, typical Scottish people being... I mean, I've got casual racism going on now. I've started typical Scottish, but it's typical spelling. It's not as bad as this kind of thing. You want to have a laugh, look at how they spell Galway. I don't want to say laugh, it's their country, they can spell anything they want. Anything anyway want. It's just me being ignorant, but you know, 1.15 miles per hour. All right, so throwing that out there. The Beaufort scale is as follows. The 0 is calm, which is less than 1 knot. 1 to 3 is called light, which is 1 to 10 knots. 4 is called moderate, 11 to 16 knots. And 5 is fresh, 17 to 21 knots. Okay. Finally, you've got the daily maximum gust in knots. So that's the highest instantaneous wind. So what's the highest like breath of wind? And then finally, this is daily maximum relative humidity. All of this information is found on page 11 in the textbook, Pure 1. So yeah, so if you're just coming back to this, I've actually continued teaching. I'm just going to say go back and watch the video for the bits you missed. Because that way, I was thinking about splitting the video in 2, but that's just awkward. People want to do this while they're, I don't know, I'd say taking the bus, but you can't do that anymore, can you? But whatever. So like this lesson has gone on while you weren't here. And you can watch it. So it was a pure one, it's an applied one. And you can go back and watch it, just the bits that you missed, right? And that's fine. If you move on to page 12, they talked to you about daily mean cloud cover. Remember that was Octus. That's that weird kind of thing where it said, can you tell us where the places are located? Yep, I'm happy to do that. Let me just finish what I'm talking about now. Then I'll recap for you. There's no problem for that. So daily mean cloud cover is measured in octas. That's 1/8 of the sky covered in cloud. I've sort of done that, but you just wait a minute, all right? Daily mean visibility is how far can you see in decameters. And that's the greatest horizontal distance you can see an object from in the daylight. And daily mean pressure in Pascal, hectopascals, all right? If you haven't got data, you put NA, not available, and just traces less than 0.05. Right, to silence this annoying fellow and his whinging, let's go through each one of these places. Lucas is in Scotland, so this is in north to south order. Lucas is in Scotland, Leaming's in north of England, Heathrow's in London, Herne is directly next to the little island. If you look at a picture of the United Kingdom, there's a little island in the south, which is called the Isle of Wight, and then Cambourne's in Cornwall, which is off to the right, okay? Off to the left, sorry, my apologies. Cornwall is like the little kind of, it's the bit that pokes out towards America and Ireland, all right? So that's from north to south, okay? Jacksonville's in Florida, Beijing is obviously in China, and Perth is in Australia. The main thing to remember there is obviously Australia, because it's in the southern hemisphere. The seasons do a flip-flop. So when it's winter for us, it's summer for them. Remember, that's important to us because our data goes from, if I remember correctly, May to October, and obviously that's the northern hemisphere summer. So that's a flip for Perth, which will be going through the southern hemisphere winter. All right. So while I appreciate you didn't, for a large part of that, it was unavailable to you. So like maybe like 10 minutes or about 30 to 40 on this video wasn't available for you. That's literally all the information you need. You just need to go back and watch it again, which is actually bonus stuff and getting more views, which is always a nice thing. Anyone got any particular questions? I want to shut up for now. I will say that there will be a mechanics one. Weird. I'm going to do a mechanics one tomorrow. Other than ladders, and I'm going to leave the chat box open for a couple of minutes for people to pop suggestions in. What would you like to see? Or what would you like to have discussed or revised on? I see a lot of these videos as the point of just reminding you things that exist. So PMCC, when Alvin suggested that, was genius. Because I think a lot of people forgot that PMCC could be hypothesis tested. It was actually going to be one of your maths for maths things, but that's now dead. So I'm going to keep this chat box open for about two or three more minutes so people can pop in their suggestions for mechanics. The stuff you missed because of buffering, when I end this stream, it will take about a couple of hours. Please remind me of what there is. Okay, let's start from the beginning. Units, SUVAT, and that's one dimension. Friction and ladders, yeah, for sure. That you can guarantee. Lifts, yes, of course, lifts. That's definitely one. When the force equals mass times acceleration, pulleys, that's another one. What else would you need to know? Resolving forces. You need to know how to do when the acceleration isn't constant. So that's when you differentiate your position vector. Sorry, not your position vector. Sorry, differentiate displacement to get velocity and velocity to get acceleration. All that stuff about moments. When you have a towbar, towbar is the least of your worries, but I'll do it. Vectors, all the vector stuff about forces, especially in 3 dimensions. So the mechanics one is pretty spicy compared to the stats one, in my opinion, especially as I've done so many more videos on stats than mechanics. What else is there? Statics. Yeah. I mean, if you want to have a full guide of it, obviously you've got the year 1 and year 2 textbook. Look at the content page. I mean, it sounds facetious, but you know, it's a list of all the topics you need to know. So definitely lifts will be done. Definitely ladders and friction and all the rest of it. I'm so bad in physics listening. But I mean, not only have you said rest in peace, you spelled peace wrong. Never mind, I'm not going to get involved in that. As I said, about another minute or so, then I'm going. All right. If only to upload the video faster for everyone else. I suspect they're doing sensible things like having dinner and stuff like that. You are aware. Okay, cool. Was it an intentional piece of... Well, to let me know if you want to make another joke, just so I know, right? About another 50 seconds. Any other one thing people want to see, let me know. I mean, if you're someone like... I'm not saying you're very, very good at mechanics. Remember, all of these two, both of these 7 o'clock ones are optional. So if you know your mechanics well, you don't need to be here. I'm entirely comfortable live streaming to nobody. In fact, it's probably a bit easier. But obviously, they're there because people can look at the video. Rest in peace, many pieces of your broker. Not yet. I don't know if I see you next, whether I'm going to thump you or not, quite frankly. You're fairly annoying online, I've got to say. I do like you as a human being. You can be fairly annoying online. I don't think I will thump you because I'll get fired. But, you know, it is a temptation sometimes, I think. I'm going to say that. Sally, you all right over there? Just pop a message if you want anything other than lifts. Oliver, I don't know what mechanics you'd need. I don't know if it'd be useful to you, but it'll be there. I'll be there if people want it, and I'll send a reminder out like I did yesterday. Or today, sorry, not yesterday. Alex gives me this compliment all the time. Alex has the patience of a saint because he sits next to you, and I'm not quite sure how that works. I've never given you any compliment. That's not what he meant. He was actually being ironic. Unless you were being like, you're being very, very ironic, but you know. Okay, enough expository banter. You've got about 20 seconds to think of anything else you want for mechanics. If you're watching this later on, and you're obviously not part of the live stream or whatever, send me Sally, no problem. Legit. I mean, it's my pleasure. You guys have worked really well all year, and you deserve every scrap of help I can throw at you. Okay, so I'm going to go now. So if you live stream is finished and you're watching this like 6 months later or 6 hours later, use the message function on Microsoft Teams, because obviously you won't be able to type this in anymore. So if you've got any particular mechanics that you'd like to see. Other than that, take care. Have a lovely evening. Apologize for disturbing your evening, to be fair. And I'll see you all tomorrow if you choose to show up. Bye.